Okay, so till now what we have seen is we have implemented only two methods, that is get and post. Using get, we are calling this get book all books method, and that we are putting it in the ng on init, so that in the beginning we are getting all the books. Okay, whatever we want to do in the beginning, automatically we'll write in the ng on. Okay, and then what we did, then we had one add book button. So for that, what functionality we wrote this post method. Okay, using the post method, what we are doing, we are creating a new object and pushing that object to the JSON server. Okay, okay, fine. Now before going into that put and delete, put is http.put method is used for updating. Suppose here, that is edit, what we did in normal tables and to-do list. Suppose I want to edit this welcome to CSS, I want to edit the price, I want to edit the name. For that we use edit option. So here in HTTP, that is known as put method, put, http.put. Okay, and delete, for delete, http.delete method is there. Okay, so we'll see those two methods, but before that let us make this code proper. So what is happening here, we are writing all the get methods, all HTTP requests, we are writing it here. HTTP calls we are writing here, but in reality we don't do like this. We create a separate service file. In that service file we write the HTTP methods. Okay, so let's create the service and move this code to there. Okay, and those put delete also will write there only. From here we'll just call that method, that's it. This component.ts file should be clean. Okay, it should not be like this. Okay, fine. So let me first create a service. Yes, start. Okay, so in the app, along with the home, I'll generate ng generate service. So what service I'll make it? It will be book service, let's say. Okay, books. So it has generated the service. Okay, now we have the service file. So first let me bring the get all books method here. Okay, so what we were doing is in the home component we were using this HTTP client here, isn't it? So we don't need to do all these things now. Now the same things we'll do there in the service. So let me just cut this line. Okay, I'll cut this from here and paste it in the book service. Then what is the next thing we did there? We wrote this dependency injection, isn't it? We'll cut this and again we'll paste it in the constructor. Okay, then what else? Then this books API also we'll move it there because we don't need it here. Okay, so the book service will have a property books API. Okay, then this method. Okay, so okay, get all books. So this whole method I can paste it there, but okay, let me do one thing. Let me cut it and paste it there, but I'll modify a little bit. I'll show you why I am doing that. So here I'll not have all these things. This part, whatever I am doing in the, this is a callback function, right? In the subscribe method, whatever I am having, this is the callback function. In this callback function, whatever I am doing, I'll not do it here. I'll do it in the component. Okay, so here all these up to subscribe, nothing will be there. So from here to here I'll remove it. Here what I'll do, here I'll just write a return. Okay, it will return this thing. So this whole part, it actually returns one observable, and that observable will subscribe so that we can get the value. Okay, so here we will not subscribe. Subscribing we always do in the component. Okay, so return this dot http dot get this dot books API. Up to here we'll get. Okay, okay, fine. Just like this we'll do for the add book also. So what is the add book functionality that we have there? So here we can remove all these things and add book function is here. So so here this part is there, no? So I'll cut this, I'll paste it in the So here I'll write add new book, some method. Okay, some method I'm creating, and inside this I'll just write only this part, return this.http.post, and here what will happen, here I'll pass one argument from there, that is the new book object. Okay, so what name I can give, I can give here book. From there I'll pass new book, but here I can put anything, right? Because this is function definition, method definition. So here I'll pass the book like this, and here I have to write here book is of type any, so that we don't get any error. Okay, so till now everything is fine. In the service, this is what we need to write. Now we will call this same methods in the component. So we'll go back to our component. So here in ng-on-init, what I'll do, so here I have to import the service, isn't it? So private book service is of type book service. Okay, you got it here. We have to call that, we have to inject that book service. Okay, now in the ng-on-init directly I can do this dot book service dot get all books. Okay, get all books method I am calling. After calling, I didn't subscribe, there I have not subscribed, isn't it? So here I have to subscribe, and then inside this subscribe I'll have the callback function. So inside this callback I have to set the books. So here we have a books array, isn't it? So this dot books is equal to res. Okay, so the books will be stored in books. Okay, that's fine. Now after that, now we have to configure the add book method. Okay, add book, what I'll do, so and one more thing, what I can do here is, see this part we have to call again after adding the book. If after adding the book, if I don't call it, the table was not getting updated. Do you remember? So what we'll do is, this part I'll make it a method function. So let's say this part is get all books. We'll name something different. Okay, let's say fetch all books. Otherwise there will be confusion, na? Same name if I put, you may not be able to understand. So I'm making it fetch all books. Fetch all books, I'll write this code. Okay, and here I'll call the fetch all books. Fetch all books. Okay, so in the ng-on-init it will call the fetch all books. Now after adding also we'll call that fetch all books. Okay, fine. Okay, now we will go for the add book. I think whether that part is working fine or not, let's see that, whether it is able to display the data or not till now, whatever we have done. So yes, it is able to display the table. Because how I can say that it is working, because if that one is not working, table will not be generated. After getting the data, it is doing the ng for, isn't it? So that means everything is working fine. Now we'll go for the add new book. So here we already have the button add book method is there. So here add book, we are creating one object, isn't it? Now after creating this object, we have to pass this object to that method. So this dot book service dot add new book. Add new book, what thing it will take, because in add new book it is taking one argument, book. So that new book is the object that we have to pass. So new book I am passing. After that we have to subscribe, and then after adding, actually we don't need to do anything. You can just put one console or log. Here after getting the data, we are putting it to books. That's why we need to write that block. But here actually we don't need to write anything. But still, what we have to do, we have to pass the callback function. I mean, there is no other way for that. So
Books property reinitialization.
We can't do it here. I mean, we don't normally write subscribe inside subscribe. Okay, because that will be again another subscribe, right? So what I'll do, I'll just put it like this. Just put it like this, and after this, we have to do the this dot fetch all books. Okay. Okay. Fine. You can do this, no problem. If you cut it and paste it here, this is also fine. But we don't normally write subscribe inside subscribe because that is another subscribe method only, isn't it? Another observable call. So we write here for welcome to, let's say, Angular, and book price, let's say 400. Yes, we are getting it. Okay, but you should write this after this. Okay, it is better. Here you can just console.log of something. Okay, fine. So that means our fetch all books is also working fine. So let me add another book. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Book title is, let's say, welcome to React.js. Book price is 500. Add book. Oh, did you see it is not working? If I put it outside. Inside the books, instead books equal to RES. Okay, no problem. I'll put it here. So why that is happening? Because this is an asynchronous call. Okay, this whole thing is forget about this line, not this line. This is also asynchronous, but that is a different line. But this line is an asynchronous call. Whatever we are doing, add new book. Add new book is pushing that book to the server, but it is asynchronous, so it is not happening in time. It may take some time. So before pushing the book, if you try to fetch, you will get only 3 books only. You will not get the updated book. Okay. Okay, we'll keep it like this. So this res is not being used. Okay. Okay, fine. Now it is coming automatically. It has brought the React.js also. Okay, now what we have done, now our whole setup is ready. That get all books and add new book is also working fine. We have pushed the code to service, so everything is fine. Now we can continue with the delete and edit. Okay, first let's do the delete, then we'll go for the edit one. Okay. Okay, now I told you one thing. Today in the morning we saw that when we were not giving the ID, we got some error initially, isn't it? So, and I told you that that is because JSON server will not allow to add any object without ID. Okay, why ID is necessary? Because to delete an item, you have to get the index. In a normal array of objects, we are passing index. Here we don't pass index. Here we pass ID. So for edit also you want ID. For delete also you want ID. So that's why JSON server doesn't allow you to post any object without ID. Okay. Okay. Fine. Now we have the ID as well, so no problem. Now let's try to delete one of the items. Now there is a rule of JSON server. Here, what is the? How do we get the books? We write localhost 3000 slash books, isn't it? This is giving me all the books, and JSON server is even able to fetch each book as well. What is the ID of welcome to Angular? 4, isn't it? So in this URL, after books slash 4, if I write, I get that Angular book. Okay, if I put 1, I get the welcome to HTML book. Okay, like this you can get all books. Okay, fine. Now let's get back to our example. So first let me put a delete button on the table for each element. So here I'll have one button. Button is delete. Okay, and here we'll pass one click, and click is equal to some delete book function, or maybe only delete. Okay, and I have to pass the ID. I'll not pass index here because index value will be different, isn't it? And in real time, what happens is we don't have ID like 1, 2, 3, 4. We have random IDs like 5, 3, 7, 6, 4, 5, 8. The next item will not have CDL ID. It will have some random ID again. Okay, it may have an like 3, 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, 8. It may have like that. Okay, so what I can do here, I can pass book.id, isn't it? What is it? What is the thing we have here? Book.id, isn't it? So I can pass the book.id here. Okay. Now I want to ask you something. Do you know about template literals, template string, dollar symbol? You know, right? Okay. Okay. So now we are creating one delete method. We are binding one delete method to the click event, and we are passing the book ID there. So now let me create one delete method here. So this add book. So delete. So delete will have one ID. Okay. Delete will have one ID, and this ID will be passed to that thing. So now let me go back to our service and create the delete book method. So after add new book, we'll have delete book method. So delete book method is taking one ID, which is of type any, and here what I'll do, return this dot http dot delete, and what this delete method will take is, first it will take the URL. What URL? That is, we wrote here this dot books API, but we have to tell exact path. That means this dot books API /1/2/3, whatever it is. Okay, so how do I bind? Because here I can't directly write /4. It is giving error. Can you see? So for that we have to use template literals. So what I'll do here is I'll use this backticks, and I'll create the template literal. So here I'll write this dot books API, and then slash, what is that? ID. Again, ID I can't write like this. If I write like this, it will go as a string. So again, I have to use the dollar symbol, and here I have to write ID. Okay. So now this whole thing is the URL that I'm passing to the delete method, and when I write like this, what will happen? It will exactly delete that particular ID. Okay, fine. So return this.http.delete and this particular ID. Now let's see. Now we will call this method there in our component. So we'll go back to our component here. This dot book service dot delete book, and what is delete book taking? It is taking only one ID. So we'll pass that ID, whatever we got here, ID. Okay, fine. Now let's see this delete book is working or not. And did we bind it here? Yes, it is already bind. Okay, fine. Now let me, which one? I want to delete this JS. Okay, so some error is coming maybe. Oh, I didn't subscribe it. Can you see? So if I don't subscribe, we don't get it. Okay, so dot subscribe, and here we'll have the res, and after deleting we have to update the data. So this dot fetch all books. Okay, save, go to the browser, and let me delete the JS. So we got, it is working fine. We delete React.js, that is also fine. Okay, Angular, CSS, HTML, all deleted. Okay, fine. Now Now let me add those things once again, and now delete is working fine. Now we'll go for the edit one. Okay. Welcome to HTML. Book price is, let's say, 300. Add book. Welcome to CSS. 350. Okay, 3 books is enough, right? Welcome to JS 400. Okay, fine. Now let me so we can see after adding, you can even check your JSON file. Okay, where is the JSON file? It is here. So this, if you edit and see, all the books are added. Okay, fine. Okay, now let me add the edit button. Okay, so we'll add one delete button here, edit button here. So this one is edit, and we'll have one edit, and edit will also take the ID. Okay, because in edit what we need to do is here what we were doing, for the delete we were passing URL/ID to the delete method, but in edit what we have to do, URL/ID comma the new object. What in edit, normally in table editing also we were passing one new object, right? So we have to do the same thing here. So edit, we are passing the book.id. Now I'll create the edit method here. So edit method is nothing but it will take one ID, and now we'll go to our service file. Okay, so in the service, after delete book, I'll have one edit book. Edit book will take one ID, and then return this dot http dot put. Okay, it is called put. This dot http dot put, and here first we have to pass the same thing whatever we passed here. Okay, so that means in this location we have to change something. Okay, it got the location. Now we have to pass the whole object. So edit book will not have what it is called, it will not only take the ID, it will also take the new object, the new book. Okay, so what I'll do here, along with the ID, I'll pass like this book. Okay, because at this ID it has to change this data. Previously it was ID is 1, title is welcome to HTML, price is 300. I want to increase the price from 300 to 400. So what I have to do, I won't pass only 400. What I'll pass, I'll say to Angular that at ID 1 you take this object. What is this new object? ID 1, title welcome to HTML, price is 400, new object. So that whole object will be passed to ID 1 like that. Okay, so this is how it works. So here I have to pass this book. Okay, now the error has gone because it is the correct syntax. If I put only one value, it is a wrong syntax, because put will take 2 arguments minimum. Okay, fine. Now let's go back to our component. So in the component, what will happen? Oh, there's a problem here. Here, when I click on edit, it will not edit actually. When I click on edit, these things will move to the input box first, isn't it? After that, we will have one update button that will update the things, isn't it? Yes. Okay, fine. So let me do one thing. Then when I am editing the book, so let me write it. So here what I have to do, when I click on edit, I have the book, isn't it? So I'll pass the whole book. Okay, I'll pass the whole book, and here I'll have the book. Okay, now we have to pass these details to the input box. So input box, what is input box? Input box is these three things, isn't it? So here I have to just put the values. So this dot book ID, this dot book title, and this dot book price. So this dot book ID is equal to book dot ID, isn't it? Because I have the book here, na? So just like that, this dot book title is equal to book dot title. Okay, and the last one is this dot book price is equal to book dot price. Okay, now let's see whether this edit button is working fine or not. So I'll go back to the browser. So when I click on welcome to CSS edit button, it is going. Welcome to HTML, it is also going. Welcome to JS, it is also going. So that is fine. Now we need that extra update button, update book. So what I do for that, I'll have one update button. Okay, I'll have update book. Okay, so here I'll call a update method. Fine, and we'll put the ngif at last. Okay, now no need. Now we'll write the logic. At last we'll show and hide the two buttons. Okay, so after editing we have to have the update button, update method. So is it update method? Did I write? Yes, update method. Now update method will call that what is it, book service method. Okay, so this dot book service dot, what was that, edit book. Okay, so let me make that update book because it will be confusing. So I'll make this update book. Okay, update book will take expected two arguments. What are the arguments? First thing is the ID and then the book, whole book, isn't it? So how do I get the ID here? So when I'm clicking on this, I am getting the book here. So what we did earlier, we were having one current ID. Do you remember? We were setting one current ID and then we were taking it. So here also I'll pass the what it is called here. When I click on edit, I'll have one current ID here. Okay, so let's say current ID is of type any. So after, when I click on edit button, it will set the current ID. So this dot current ID is equal to book dot ID. So it will be saved there. So no problem, we'll have it. So when I click on update, it will first pass the this dot current ID, isn't it? Because current this update book is first taking the ID, then the whole book. Now it will take the whole book. So for that we have to create the object, isn't it? So updated book is equal to, okay, let updated book is equal to one object. What will be that object? This is this one. Okay, after editing, it will have this dot book ID will have new ID, this dot book title will have new title, this dot book price will have new price. So here, along with the correct ID, I can book this updated book. Okay, fine. Then I have to subscribe after passing all these things. So subscribe, and here res, and after updating, I just call that fetch all books. This dot fetch all books. Okay, so I think everything is fine. Let's see whether this is working fine or not. So let's check the functionality once. When I click on edit, it is calling edit method. When I click on edit method, it is taking the book data and putting it to the input boxes. After that, I am changing the text whatever I want. Then I'm clicking on update button, which is here. It is calling the update method. Update method in turn, what it is doing, it is creating one new object, and this new object along with the current ID, it is passing to the update book method of book service. Okay, fine. Now let's check it. So let me change the price of CSS to 300 only. Okay, so I click on edit. So I change the price to 300, and I click on update book. So it got updated here. Okay, and in the db.json also, if you reload it, we can see it is 300. It is changed here, that's why we got it there. Okay, fine. Now you can apply that thing. We can have one flag here. You can apply the let me have a flag. What is it? True or false, that boolean flag. Okay, so let's say update book is of type boolean, so initially is equal to false. Okay, and when I click on edit, immediately this dot update book is equal to true. Okay, after editing, this is editing. Then when I click on update button, again it will become false. So after completion of updating, so this dot update book is equal to false. Okay, now this condition we just need to apply to the buttons. Button star ngif is equal to, so this add book will be shown when it is false, so I'll put a not here, not update book. Okay, and this one will be shown when it is true, so ngif equal to update book. Okay, save it, go to the browser, and yeah, we are getting the add book. So let me change the price of price and name of this. So I click on edit. Welcome to JS. I'll write it completely JavaScript, and price I will make it 450, and update book. Fine. Okay. So this is how CRUD operations are done in Angular using HTTP methods. Okay. So now we don't have any server, so we are using JSON server, but in real time also data will come like that on. Okay, in companies what will happen, you will be given this URL, you will not be given this data will not be with you, this will come from backend, but they will give you this URL. Using this URL you have to write all these methods, and you have to do the CRUD operation. Okay, then I'll end the session here.